Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? It is your boy out here, CJ the DJ, coming to you live with a brand new episode of Hustle and Burn. As always, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope everybody had a great week. It's Sunday, so hopefully we can end it off right, you dig? Man, oh man, got a great pod for you today, but as always, guys, what do? Shout out the sponsors, man. Diamond Consulting, you know how we do. For any general contractors out there in the Front Range, Colorado area that may need or utilize subcontractors in any different scope of work, guys, whether it be new builds, remodels, renovations, contact Diamond Consulting. What they have and provide is a private network of fully insured, pre-vetted subcontractors looking to take on more work, aka grow and scale their companies. So contact Diamond Consulting, guys, 720-563-7452. Again, hope everybody had a great week. I did. Hope you did. Happy Valentine's to the ladies out there, fellas. Hopefully you did right for your girls. You feel me? You feel me? All right. Let's get into it, man. The Not For Long League, the NFL, baby. Lot of stuff going on in the NFL. I love it. I love it, man. I love it that the season is over, but so much stuff is already going on, man. James Cook this week. James Cook of the Buffalo Bills, guys, their running back, had a contract demand, which in my opinion is pretty absurd. Per sources, the Bills running back wants $15 million per year, guys. $15 million per year, which would make him the second highest paid running back behind Christian McCaffrey. Okay? Now, it begs the question, given Christian McCaffrey's impact on the 49ers, the season that he's had this season, obviously he was great. He did put up stats. He was injured. But do you pay money to James Cook, $15 million a year, and make him the second highest paid running back in the NFL? I don't know, man. I don't know. The Bills are in quite a dilemma if you're the Buffalo Bills, okay? You got Josh Allen. All right, he's looking like the Charles Barkley of the NFL, realistically. This guy is probably going to be in an era where he just never wins a ring because of the talent that's around him on other teams. It just is what it is, right? So you got Josh Allen at quarterback that's looking like the Charles Barkley of the NFL. Your head coach has led the head coach this year, guys, led a weaker Buffalo Bills team further in the playoffs than they have went the past two seasons, okay? Actually, the best record that they've had in the last 5 years. So, in my opinion, even though they can't get over the hump, I know that I've said in the past, right, that, you know, these coaches that can't get over the hump, when do you sit there and call it a day on them? At this point, this guy got a weaker team to the best record in 5 years and deeper in the playoffs than they've been. So coaching is not the issue, right? And you know, James Cook, respectively, y'all know I like to pull the stats out. He posted back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, okay? This season he had 16 rushing touchdowns, all right? But in today's NFL, the running back position still, right, is it valuable enough for that price at the running back position? Potentially, you see what Saquon's doing in Philly, but do you have that offense that you know fits that scheme and fits everything that needs to happen? Okay, you know what I mean. For example, y'all know how I do. I like to bring up real facts on the pod, and you know when we get into these things. Joe Mixon, guys. Joe Mixon, he plays for the Houston Texans. Previously, he played for the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow and the gang over there. All right. Joe Mixon, all right, he's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, just like James Cook. He's more consistent in terms of touchdowns over the last two seasons than James Cook. James Cook has way more this season, but has way less last season, whereas Joe Mixon is more consistent over the last two seasons with touchdowns, right? The new deal, guys, that Joe Mixon got, right? Okay, coming off back-to-back seasons was $25 million with $16 million guaranteed, but only $8.5 million per year. So a guy that got the same amount of rushing yards almost identically to you, and over the last two seasons has been more consistent in rushing, is making half the price tag that you, James Cook, are making, yet you're demanding double his price tag. I don't know. I don't know about 15 mil. When you see a Joe Mixon down in Houston getting 8, $8.5 million a year on a $25 million 3 to 4 year contract. At the end of the day, I don't think the Buffalo Bills, especially in the position they're in, where again, 5 years straight you've been knocked off. You have to make some moves. Are you going to go all in and pay James Cook $15 million a year? AKA, you're essentially agreeing to pay this guy $50 million because you're not going to give him, 2 years, $15 million. You're going to give him probably 3 to 5 years. I would estimate 4 years at about $15 million a season if that's what he's asking for, right? So, I don't know, man. The Buffalo Bills are in quite a predicament, but in my opinion, I would love to hear your guys' opinion on this topic, man, especially in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Spotify. Post a comment what you think about James Cook. Do you think he deserves $15 million a season to make him the second highest paid running back in the NFL? I just don't know, man. I think he's worth about $10 million a year, maybe. All right, like $8 to $10 million a year. That's what I think is accurate for a running back in the NFL these days. $8 to $10 million a season. $30 million contract, 3 years. It is what it is. Like, that's just how I see the running back position right now. A lot of these guys want to be, top tier, but you're not Saquon, okay? You ain't Saquon, and that just is what it is, man. That's just the reality of what's going on. So that's what's going on with James Cook and the Buffalo Bills, man. We also got the LA Rams, which are really, 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 guys, both, up front, but also behind the scenes for the novice, NFL fan, if you will, making waves within this free agency, within this off season. And the reason that is we've already said, right, that they are trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. We mentioned it, a pod ago, 2 pods ago. They're trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. They're trying to clear up cap space. But now it's come out that they are also trying to ship out Matthew Stafford as well, and get rid of Matthew Stafford at the quarterback position, which I think is just crazy. But again, it's a move for the LA Rams to save cap space over the next 1 to 2 seasons and try and make a move, try and stay competitive. So at the end of the day, I really think that they could trade Matt Stafford for a high-level draft pick, a very top-tier draft pick. Whether you like it or not, okay, Matt Stafford is a top 5 quarterback in terms of accuracy. I want to make myself clear. Matt Stafford is a top 5 NFL quarterback in terms of accuracy specifically. Okay? His ball placement is absolutely ridiculous. Pause. Wow. Crazy. Sorry about that. But it is what it is, right? So his accuracy, right, is top 5 in the NFL. But he's 36. So the reality of what Matthew Stafford is, he knows this. I think other teams and anyone's looking into him knows this. He is just a bridge quarterback at this point, right? So a bridge quarterback is someone who's just trying to come in. They're trying to get you, 1 to 2 years, maybe 1 to 3 years of potentially competitive seasons, if that's what you're trying to do as a team, right? So if you're the Titans, if you're the Browns, if you're the Giants, if you're the Jets, who are no longer keeping Aaron Rodgers, right? Do you potentially go out and get a Matthew Stafford as a bridge quarterback to bring in the new head coaches, to if you're the Giants, continue and try and be more competitive than you were last season? I would say the Pittsburgh Steelers, but, they don't have enough to give up realistically, in my opinion. High enough draft capital, if you will, to be able to get Matt Stafford. So I won't even count the Steelers in there. But the Titans, Browns, Giants, and Jets, man, they got a lot of draft capital that they can give up in this year's draft to be able to go and get Matt Stafford if they think he's going to make them more competitive than they were in the previous season, right? Like, for me, the Rams could definitely trade the number 3 pick to the New York Giants, okay? And if I'm the Giants, I would definitely trade the number 3 pick to the LA Rams for Matthew Stafford, right? Now, they could get the number 3 pick if you're the LA Rams, and let's say you don't want to go quarterback this season. You potentially could trade that number 3 pick to another team that's, 15 to 20, and you get this year's first round and next year's first round potentially for the number 3 pick, right? Like, there's so many things that could go on with the Rams. And I think it's very interesting, right? Like the Myles Garrett and the Matthew Stafford trades, due to where all of these teams are in draft orders and things like that, it makes stuff very, very interesting, guys. Extremely interesting, because these teams can now, again, if they don't want to go quarterback, if they're not liking anyone in this year's draft, but there's a couple guys that they're peeping for next year potentially, right? why go all in on these picks? Why not look for a fit to trade these picks away for something that's going to make your team a little bit more competitive, right? And let's not even forget, I mentioned the Rams are trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. Let's not forget the Rams could potentially package Cooper Kupp with Matthew Stafford. The Rams could potentially partner Cooper Kupp with Matthew Stafford in a trade package to one of these teams that has a top 3 pick. If you're the Titans, if you're the Browns, if you're the Giants, and you get an offer for Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, potentially, of course, again, this is all hypothetical, but I'm taking that trade, right? Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, if I'm the Giants, I have Malik Neighbors, okay? We have a subpar running back, but at the end of the day, I'm giving up the number 3 pick to get Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp to pair with Malik Neighbors. I think that makes the Giants so much more competitive just right off the rip. I would be actually, if I was the Giants, pushing to also acquire Cooper Kupp within the trade. I wouldn't just want it to be Matt Stafford for the number 3 pick. I would want Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp for the number 3 pick and whatever else that the LA Rams want in return for Cooper Kupp. Okay, so the number 3 pick is Stafford straight up, but whatever you want for Cooper Kupp, let's talk, let's deal. If I'm the Giants, want to pair Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp with Malik Neighbors. That opens up the offense completely. It assists the Giants with the subpar running game that they have, okay? And if I'm Brian Daboll, let's just be real. Brian Daboll is on the hot seat. A lot of people thought Brian Daboll was going to be fired after this last season. But they essentially make Daniel Jones the scapegoat in the Giants organization. Daboll keeps his job. So if I'm Daboll, bro, I'm sitting there on my hands and knees, pause again, begging the owner, like, please do something to get Matthew Stafford over here. And if you can, please get Cooper Kupp, but especially Matthew Stafford, just because, again, the accuracy, okay? So if you can get Matt Stafford for the number 3 pick and then in the second round go get a wide receiver or something, or sign another wide receiver in free agency. Again, it's all going to be dependent on, cap room and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, again, if I'm Brian Daboll and I know that I'm on the hot seat, if Brian Daboll does not win football games for the New York Giants this year, he's out of there, right? I'm begging the owner, go get Matt Stafford. Give up the number 3 pick for Matt Stafford, and please, while you're at it, try and get Cooper Kupp. Make up for this Saquon Barkley debacle, right? Like, it's crazy, the Saquon debacle and everything that's gone on in New York. So that's what I'm doing if I'm Brian Daboll. That's what I'm doing if I am the Giants organization. I'm trying to get Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp in a package deal for whatever the LA Rams want. And funny enough that I mentioned that the debacle regarding Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants. So, for those that didn't know, previous season before Saquon left the Philadelphia Eagles, they actually implemented something with Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks follows the teams around in season, blah 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 blah. They did an off-season Hard Knocks, okay, and the cameras actually caught the conversation about re-signing Saquon, yada 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 yada. So fast forward to this season, after all this goes down, a lot of NFL teams, guys, are now declining the off-season Hard Knocks episodes. They do not want to do it. They do not want to be featured on the off-season because they saw what happened. Essentially, the Giants got exposed for that very personal personnel conversation, and that was right, personal personnel conversation that happened, right? Within that, and so a lot of teams, guys, are just basically saying, yeah, no, we don't want that Hard Knocks here, especially not in the off season while we're having these conversations. But very interesting, man. But that's what I'm doing if I'm the Giants, guys. This is just crazy. Raheem Mostert even being released by the Miami Dolphins. If I'm a Dolphins, I would have tried to at least get a little bit of something for Raheem Mostert. Like, this guy was not a scrub at the end of the day. The Miami Dolphins, I get it, they're trying to clear up cap space to make whatever moves that they're trying to make this offseason, but I feel like they could have gotten a little bit of something for Raheem Mostert, bro. They had a dual running back threat the last 1 to 2 seasons. That running back threat was probably the most positive part of the Miami Dolphins offense for the last 1 to 2 seasons. So the fact that you give up a piece of that dual running back system for nothing is very crazy to me. I think the team that we are no longer naming for this upcoming season on this podcast should do whatever that they need to do to go immediately sign Raheem Mostert. The team that we shall not name, that I used to be a fan of, that I'm not a fan of this season, and I'm a Raiders fan this season because this team is so terrible, they need to go sign Raheem Mostert immediately. What T.I. said, expeditiously. Expeditiously. They need to go sign Raheem Mostert. the team that we shall not name on this podcast. Go sign Raheem Mostert. Jerry Jones, go sign Raheem Mostert. That's what y'all need to do. Get a running back. Get a solid running back that you can pay minimal, okay? He's not going to cost you much, especially after being cut. He's on a prove-it deal at this point for whoever he signs with. That's just the reality of his position. Go get him, man. Go get him, Jerry Jones. That's what y'all need to do, all right? But the NFL, man, the NFL is way up, guys. And, you know, with the way things are shaping up for this offseason, again, like I mentioned, the draft order, the needs of these teams, the players that are in free agency, the teams that are maybe not in a rebuild position like the Rams. Again, they just made the playoffs, but they're kind of in a rebuild position where they have to make moves. That's why they're trying to get rid of Stafford and Cooper Kupp, right? So there's a lot of moving pieces. There's also new teams like the Washington Commanders that are in the mix for Super Bowl contention and NFC Championship contention. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on in the NFL to make this offseason within the NFL one of the most interesting and exciting in the history of the league. This offseason, guys, is going to change the trajectory of the NFL for the next 5 to 10 years. And the reason I say that is because, again, you have so many moving pieces at so many organizations. Even the Chiefs, for example, they're coming off back-to-back championships. They just lost one. You got guys like Travis Kelce potentially retiring. You got guys that are getting older. They do have young guys, but again, they didn't gel. They just got stomped by the Philadelphia Eagles, who of course may not be as good because Kellen Moore left down to the Saints. Called that, said that. Great move by Kellen Moore. But, right, what I'm saying and what I'm portraying, guys, is there's so many moving pieces that this NFL offseason is shaping up to essentially shape the next 5 to 10 years, man. I am extremely excited for what's to come in the Not-For-Long League, what's going on in the Not-For-Long League. They're way up, man. The ratings are going to continue to go up. They're expanding to more countries this next season. So shout out to the NFL doing their job, man, for real. But let's move on. Let's get into the music, man. Kind of a little wild week this week in music. Had a couple different things going on. A couple different things I wanted to bring up, man. One thing I really peeped this week that I wanted to bring up was Gillie Da Kid, all right? For those that don't know, Gillie Da Kid used to be a rapper. He has now turned to a podcaster. He's on a podcast with his cousin Wallow called $1 Million Worth of Game. Very dope podcast. But this week, guys, he was actually on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast, all right? And Gillie Da Kid actually spoke about turning down invites to Rock Nation brunches. Jay-Z's company's Rock Nation brunches, which all artists like to go to every year. But what he said in regard to this, okay, and I really wanted to bring this up. He said in regard to turning down and never attending a Rock Nation brunch invite, right? Why would I go so you can use my brand to better your position and show these white people that on the low, yo, see, I still run this shit. Like, he's basically saying while they're at these white parties, right, all these artists are thinking like, yo, I'm about to be here and leverage my brand, I'm about to get up, when really behind the scenes it's JC like, see, I still run this shit. I still eat. Hey, y'all see these little small time motherfuckers? Yeah, we still run this shit. We still good, you know? Like dapping motherfuckers up behind the scenes. That's why he said, like, I don't need to go to no Rock Nation brunch, man. And he pointed out the fact that Jay-Z, if you actually go back, which is kind of crazy, yo, go back and actually, you know, look at the receipts on this shit for the last couple years. He said Jay-Z only smiles in pictures with billionaires. And he doesn't smile in pictures of rappers anymore. Because he's only happy when he's with the billionaires, basically kiki ha-haing at these motherfucking little rappers. Cause, right? Like, it was kind of crazy, man. And Gillie mentioned, you know, that he understands branding at an extremely high level. He called out how Jay-Z essentially has spent the last 5 to 10 years leveraging other individuals' brands to better his own personal position. Right? Like, Jay-Z is the guy that is responsible for Kanye West, the Rihannas, the Beyoncés, things like that, right? He's put so many people in these different positions within the game, within the genre, within the industry that boom, 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 yet he's the top guy. He is essentially manipulating around him off of these individuals' brands. And Gillie really, you know, brought that to the forefront. You know, Jay-Z, for example, very close with R. Kelly. When the stuff came up with R. Kelly, distanced himself. Stuff. He's very close with P. Diddy. Stuff came up with Diddy. Of course, he now denies that they were ever close, right? Played a role in the Kendrick and Drake beef, being that him and Drake had beef in the past, that him and Drake have had personal issues, being that Drake, let's say, wrote for Beyonce. Drake wrote tracks for a Beyonce album, okay? Those tracks made the album, and then Drake went and dropped an album right before Beyonce dropped the tracks that he had wrote for her for. So there's a lot of history between these guys, man, and it was just very interesting at the fact that Gillie really pointed out, you know, a real gem, honestly, just about branding specifically, guys, and marketing that a lot of people missed within that. It's, you know, seems like, oh, he's just a hater, da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, yo, he's not a hater. He's really giving you $1 million worth of game, bro. Like, Hove has been using his brand to stay on top, and you know, people think they're gaining, again, heading to these parties, but the underlying outcome is Jay-Z being able to leverage those brands that aren't even his own for his own gain. So, again, man, shout out to Gillie Da Kid for really chatting $1 million worth of game on Club Shay Shay, man. That was super dope, and I'm super appreciative for that, man. That was absolutely fire, man. And one more thing that he actually mentioned on the pod that, you know, we'll chat about. Y'all know how we get down with this Drake-Kendrick shit going on. He mentioned, really, you know, Drake, at the end of the day, he compared Drake and Kendrick and said, at the end of the day, is Kendrick a bigger artist than Drake? The bottom line is no, period, okay? So, Drake lost a rap battle to Kendrick Lamar. That's fine. Is Drake done? Is Drake done? Is Drake gonna fall off? Does Drake need to retire from rapping? No. It's like LeBron James, this is what Gillie said. It's like LeBron James losing in the NBA Finals. It's like Patrick Mahomes losing in the Super Bowl. They gonna go hang it up? No. Go regroup? Come back. And y'all see, the GOAT done come back. The GOAT done come back on y'all, man. Drake has dropped a new album with Party Next Door, some sexy songs for you. Drake, ladies and gentlemen, Drake drops with P&D, and if y'all ain't heard this album yet, let me tell you, he did it. He fucking did it. He is back 100%. Drake is going #1 with this album, period. This album is going to go #1, okay? But there are multiple tracks on the album that are potentially going #1. And the industry cannot deny this, okay? No matter what happens, the media can't deny this. The industry can't deny this. These tracks are hot, yo. It's full of hits, for real, if you haven't heard this shit. If you haven't heard this new Drake album, dog, there's bars on the tracks. He's talking about the beef. He's singing on the tracks. He's setting the tone. Everyone is saying this is a classic album already. Classic album already, guys. It's rumored, it was rumored before this, like I had mentioned, like academics had mentioned, that the labels are going to try and blackball this album, essentially, that they were going to try and not promote this. And honestly, even if you go to Apple Music right now, this album went #1 on Apple Music the fastest ever before. The fastest album to go #1 on Apple Music ever before. But if you go to the Apple Music homepage right now, you'll damn near not find anything in relation to this album. That's bullshit. But it's still going #1, even without that, man. Because you cannot deny the tracks, man. You cannot deny this. Drake haters and a lot of these guys in the game, bro, like they got their fist, especially after he dropped this. That Drake haters are in the corner with their fist balled up, with tears rolling down their face, crying, bro. Like, how does he keep doing it? Like, yo, he did it. He did it, bro. Drake is the GOAT, bro. Y'all just haters, bro. He makes timeless music. I'm tired of talking about it, bro. Stop trying to deny good fucking music. Drake makes timeless music, okay? And if you don't understand what I mean by timeless music, then I don't even want to conversate with you on this topic. He makes timeless tracks that describe actual real-life relatable shit for generations. Not one generation, not one group of people. Kendrick got the whole West Coast, but he don't got the whole world. No. Entire generations this man is able to relate to. and make timeless fucking music for, bro. Like he said on Circadian Rhythm, they don't speak my language. Hey, niggas don't speak my language. Like, bruh, y'all just don't speak Drake's language, bruh. The man only makes hits, period. Jack Harlow said it on that track with Drake that he did, Churchill Downs. It's hard to crack jokes when you really want advice. I mean, what's it like to touch gold every time you touch a mic? Like, bro, that's Drake, bro. This man touches gold every time he touches a mic, damn near, bro. And all the people saying like, oh, Drake just fell off. He's not as good, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, he's making timeless music, bro. You're just not listening to it simply because you have wavered from maybe the vibe that you were on previously. But if you've stuck with Drake, if you've been a Drake fan, bro, I'm telling y'all right now, this man is about to have a crazy fucking run. After all the hate that the game gave him, he's about to have a stupid fucking run within the rap industry, bro. I am telling y'all right now, man. This shit is absolutely crazy, yo. I'm telling you, that Give Me a Hug song, give me a hug, give me a hug, give me a... Bro, that song is gonna go #1. That is going to be the track that breaks his tie with Michael Jackson for the most #1 tracks ever. Listen to what I'm saying. He is about to break a tie with Michael Jackson for the most #1 records ever. Okay? That is extremely important whether you like it or not. This man is running the industry, and I'm telling you, for the next 2 to 5 years, y'all done fucked up. Y'all done fucked up. Drake is about to step on the game for the next 2 to 5 years again, in the same manner, in the same way that he has been. And y'all done fucked up hating on the boy, man. Mark my words. Y'all know I peep this shit. Y'all know I pay attention to this shit. Mark my words, the GOAT, Drizzy Drake, is back at it, and he's about to run the game for the next... I say 1 to 3, but I want to say 2 to 5, but I'll say at least 1 to 3 years. Y'all done fucked up and woke Drake up, bro. He's about to start dropping stupid bombs on y'all head top. And now, because of the fire-ass music that he's dropping, the label has to get back behind him. That's the funniest part about Drake suing the label, is the label can try and degrade him. They can try and promote these other tracks, but the bottom line is, when this nigga drops music, the shit is fucking hits. When this nigga drops, it goes. When this nigga drops, the people are tuning in. When this nigga drops, everybody in the fucking world is tuning in, bro, and they're loving this shit. So now the label's fucked up because essentially they're in a legal battle with him, but now the whole world fucking with Drizzy Drake again. He's about to have a #1 album again, potentially a #1 track again, right? You can't deny that shit if you're the label. You gotta put money behind that bitch. You know how fucked up the label is right now? The label sitting there in the corner mad as fuck too. I mean, they making money, so they less mad than the Kendrick stans, right? But they still mad, bruh. Drizzy Drake is on top, man. It's crazy. Salute to Drizzy Drake, man. Salute to the GOAT, boy. Let's get into the investment rap of the week, man. We gonna keep this one short for y'all. Not a crazy week at all. The Dow Jones was barely down this week. The NASDAQ was barely up this week. So, again, a fairly even spot around the market. But one thing I do want to bring up specifically is when you see a buy position, guys, especially on investing long term, like we've chatted about, that's really all that I bring up. I don't talk too much about my day trading and stuff like that on here, but when you're speaking on long-term stock investment, when you see a buy position that you've tracked and you've done the research, you know that that's a position you want to buy, you have to buy, guys. I missed a buy opportunity this week on Google because I had set an alert for a price point that I wanted to get into, but I didn't set a purchase order. And I've mentioned this to you guys on the pod before. There's ways that you can just go, whatever platform it is that you use, if it's Robinhood, things of that nature. You can go on there and just set purchase orders at specific price points. So if the stock reaches this price, or if it goes below and then comes back above this price, it will trigger a purchase order for whatever amount that you put in, okay? You can do that sort of stuff on these apps. Now, I had a price point for Google that I really wanted to dollar cost average into. Y'all know I've been talking about it, dollar cost averaging, same set amount. When it hits these strike prices, that's what we do. Doesn't matter, bing, bang, boom, right? Okay, So there was a price. I had an alert set, but I didn't have a purchase order set. Guys, I shit you not. I had the alert. I was at work. Didn't work out, right? Like, we're all busy, okay? So this is what I'm trying to portray here, and why I'm saying this is uber important when you're doing this long-term investing and you really just want to get this off and you know, start building this portfolio with me like I'm trying to do, right? You have to set the purchase orders, because by the time that I was not busy at work and was able to check my phone and say, oh shit, I got this, oh, it's at this price, we need to go, fuck, I didn't put a purchase order, goddamn, we gotta go purchase. The stock was already back up like 5 to 7%. Not 5 to 7, I'm sorry, I think it was 3 to 5%. The stock was already up 3 to 5% from where I set it at, and it has yet to come back down to that level that I set alert on, but not a purchase order. So why bring this up with the investment wrap of the week, guys, is like we've been talking about, as we're finding these levels we want to invest in, we want a dollar cost average. Continue to look that up, dollar cost average. These stocks we want a dollar cost average into. Set purchase orders, guys. Go do the research, go find the levels you want to buy, set alerts on whatever app it is you use, but also set purchase orders. Just set it, forget about it. We've said it before. What do? Set it, forget about it. I fucked up, and I missed out on 3 to 5% worth of funds off that dollar cost average investment and off my portfolio in general, right? But that's what I'm telling you guys. That's how quick these things can work. It can be in an hour's time, a day's time, a week's time. You never know. So pay attention to it, all right? Set those purchase orders. That way you have less stress. You don't end up like me missing out on some bread, right? It's all right. We still good. We still had a good week. We still beat the market at the end of the day, and that's all you want to do from a week-to-week basis. If you beat the market on a week-to-week basis, you're going to beat them on a month-to-month. You'll beat them on an annual, right? Like, that's just what it is. It's simple math. But what I'm telling you is there's more money to be made, and we want to get every dime that we can, because we deserve every dime we're owed, period, man. So stay patient, stay focused, find those levels you want to invest in. That's the pod for y'all this week. That's all I got for y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. Hope everybody had a great week, and have a good Sunday, man. We out.